So in this segment, we're going to be talking about freight companies dismayed by the new Brexit. Well, it's not really new. The pushback Brexit rules starting January 1st. MSPs here. So sorry about if you can hear any noise in the background. Can't be helped. So freight companies have expressed dismay over new customs controls at the UK border, which will begin in the new year. MSPs have been told a requirement for full customs declarations on goods coming from the EU to the UK will be start on January 1st, with post-Brexit border controls being phased in later in the year. So we're going to talk a bit more specifically in a moment about these checks, but businesses clearly are not happy about them because this will have a massive impact on British imports from the EU. You know, no one's ready for this, or at least no one in Britain is ready for this. A Holyrood committee heard that the initial change will lead to quite a lot of bureaucracy for hauliers. So all of those checks that come with exports will happen with imports, with a couple of caveats which we'll talk about. The Scottish Parliament's Economics Committee heard from a number of figures in the logistics and transport industry on Wednesday as part of its investigations into supply chains. Robert Windsor of the British International Freight Association said a number of new customs checks will be coming into force in 2022. The customs changes coming in on January 1st are very significant, he said, because this is it. This is going to be fairly close to full customs checks on goods coming in. There won't be certain checks on animals, full checks on animals yet, but that will happen very soon. So what we can see here is businesses are not ready for this. They are not ready at all for the paperwork and everything that's going to happen. And it's going to make exporting to the UK for EU members a nightmare, which a lot of them aren't going to bother with. I think they will start looking to export into other EU countries, which will come at a loss, but at least they won't have to deal with paperwork and also the fact that your goods might get sent back, which for some goods, food, perishable goods, would mean just destruction of them. The customs changes are coming in on January 1st, are very significant. They've been delayed by around a year, so I don't know if the government will delay them again and just blame Omicron or Unicron. In effect, you are seeing the UK reimposing full customs controls on all goods coming from the European Union in the UK. One of the changes will be a need for pre-notification of sanitary and phytosanitary SPS goods covering animal products. We'll talk about the specifics in a moment. Windsor continued, it's quite a lot of bureaucracy to go through, but this is what we wanted, really. My view and the association's view is these are more significant impacts on the UK as a whole than what we saw on January 1st this year with regards to exports. That's because imports are far worse because we're very reliant on the EU to import our food from. We import around 60% of our food. A lot of that comes from the EU. Brian Hepburn, operations manager with logistics firm DFDS, also gave evidence to the committee. Asked about the changes on January 1st, he said, "We'll view the whole thing with just a kind of explanation of dismay." He said he hopes the changes will not lead to bottlenecks at imports, which has experienced recently. It will absolutely lead to bottlenecks because we don't even have the staff to do all of these checks. So that's going to cause a major problem. We don't have the expertise to do these checks. That's going to cause a major problem. And the fact that because they're just being implemented, that's a further problem. Seafood being transmitted to continental Europe from Scotland may be affected, he said, while DFDS is working with its board customers to ensure they know about the new rules. These aren't really new rules again, these are just postponed rules. We're actively preparing and we're hoping that we're going to be ready, he added. Hoping. In September, the government said it was delaying implementing a number of border controls in a response to the pandemic, which is a load of nonsense. They just haven't done the groundwork to get the staff. We go here. So HMRC are reminding traders to prepare for customs changes that come into effect on January 1st. Some businesses have already have a simplified declarations authorization from HMRC, which allows their goods to be released directly to a specific customs procedure without having to provide a full customs declaration at the point of release. So that comes with a significant cost, and this company will be liable for taxes if they are audited and not careful. So they have to be very careful, these companies that deal with this. We've spoken about that before. If you want to use simplified declarations, you'll need an authorization to do so. It can take up to 60 calendar days, which is a myth. It takes around 6 months based on what I've read in another article to complete the checks needed for this, and you will need to have a duty deferment account in place. Therefore, a new application made now may not be authorised until January 1st. It won't be authorised until the middle of next year, potentially. Border controls. Ports and other border locations will be required to control goods moving Great Britain and the EU. This means that unless your goods have a valid declaration and have received customs clearance, they will not be able to be released into circulation, and in most cases will not be able to leave the port. So unless we have these certifications, the goods won't be able to come off the ships essentially into the actual country properly, because of the fact that most things are being checked now. From January 1st, your goods may be directed to an inland border facility for documentary or physical checks. That's to stop a bottleneck at the port, but that's going to further move goods more inland, which once those places get filled up, we're in trouble again. It's important that those involved in transporting your goods are ready and understand how you intend to operate from January 2022. From January 1st, you must also submit an arrived export declaration if your goods are moving through one of the border locations that uses the arrived exports process. A bit of a strange one in terms of jargon. It's not the most simple, especially on a government website. If you do not follow the correct process, the new systems will not permit your goods to leave the country, and they will be turned away as they will not hold export clearance. So that's going to be a major problem for exporters by the looks of it. If you use a service such as a courier or freight forwarder to move your goods, you will need to check their terms and conditions about who will make this declaration and what other things they need from us. So we're talking full checks on exports and imports as well. Major problem here. And we go down, there's a bit more here. Further changes from January 1st will it be introduced, which we'll let you know about them nearer the time, which we are near the time. There's like less than a month. So requirements for full safety and security declarations for all imports. New requirements for export health certificates. This is from July, my bad. It's from July 1st. So this is about the checks coming in July. Full requirements for phyto certificates. Physical checks on sanitary and phytosanitary goods at the border control post. So that's the import of meats and things like that. So what you can see is the UK is going almost all in with all the checks. They had to delay them a lot, but this is the only way the UK is going to have a full understanding of what we're importing from the EU. And if we see what the doc has written, yes, there are changes coming in. January pre-notifications for SPS. And PAO, I'm not sure what that is, and the end to deferred customs declarations. That means that these are going to have to be paid at the border, I believe. But equally, we've known for a long time that these were just temporary simplifications and that they were going to end. So companies are going to have to show, the right paperwork and things like that, and it's going to cause absolute havoc at the border. It's going to further deter, EU lorry drivers to come to the UK. They will need to end for the UK to be fully in control of its borders and revenue, to level the playing field, as it's not fair on UK businesses that EU exporters are not subject to the same controls as UK businesses exporting to the EU. The reason it's happening is because we don't have the staff and the facilities to deal with the stuff that's coming in. So while in January 2022 means more work for UK importers, more costs and more formalities, we've known it was coming for a while, and I'm not sure postponing these controls further would be a good way to go. I think postponing these would be a good way to go until we're actually ready to do checks, but then again, we probably never will be ready. So hopefully you guys found this video interesting. We can see that the UK is doing full import checks, which means that it's going to cause massive problems for companies trying to export into the UK. So again, what more can you say apart from Britain, won against EU bureaucrats and all this nonsense? When we're going to get a full taste of it in the next year, really, and imports are going to face massive problems. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.